What did you know about spiritual teachings that say our reality is not limited to just one dimension? It exists in many dimensions. It's an interesting idea that makes us think about the deepest parts of our minds and the nature of existence itself. But have you ever thought about what makes these dimensions different from one another and how they affect how we see the world? Now comes Dolores Cannon, a famous author and hypnotherapist whose groundbreaking work explores consciousness and changes in dimensions. Cannon learned a lot about the change from the old Earth to the new Earth and from lower to higher consciousness through her many research projects and regression therapy sessions. The Three Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth, one of her well-known books, talks about this very subject. It sheds light on how humanity is spiritually changing and how volunteers can help bring about a new era of consciousness. Cannon's work gives us a fantastic way to think about things that go beyond our physical world. She especially explains how the third, fourth, and fifth dimensions work, giving us useful information about how they affect our reality. We start to understand the complexities of each dimension and how they have a huge effect on our spiritual journey as we learn more about Cannon's teachings. Why does the fourth dimension not come up much in these discussions, though? And why is it so important to stay away from it? The fourth dimension is a space in between the third dimension, which is dense and material, and the fifth dimension, which is ethereal and open. It's a place where time doesn't stick to a straight line and where our thoughts have a huge impact on our reality. The fourth dimension can be a place of growth and expanded consciousness, but it can also be a place of confusion and distortion if you get too attached to the fact that it is always changing. Because of this, getting through the fourth dimension requires wisdom and a clear sense of your spiritual path. Let's let go of our ideas about how small the universe is and welcome the knowledge that lies ahead. Are you ready to explore the world beyond this one? Come with me as we try to figure out what consciousness is all about and start our search for a higher truth. As we move from the third dimension to the fourth, we enter a space where things are more fluid and our awareness is wider. In this 4D, the very fabric of reality changes in a way that is both subtle and profound. In contrast to the dualistic nature of the third dimension, 4D gives us a more open and adaptable way to experience life. The fourth dimension has a fluid sense of time, which is one of its main traits. Time is less rigid and linear, so events in the past, present and future can interact with each other in a more fluid way. Because our thoughts and intentions have more power to shape our reality, this fluidity in time makes manifestation happen faster. This is like a bridge, a space between the third dimension's limits and the fifth dimension's boundless possibilities. For some, it's like an initiation, where we start to understand our true spiritual nature and figure out how everything is linked. When we are in 4D consciousness, we become very aware of how powerful our beliefs are in shaping our reality. As we accept this shift in consciousness, the heavy emotions that used to rule our lives in the third dimension start to fade. We become more neutral and at peace with ourselves, which helps us deal with the problems we face in life with calmness and clarity. It's possible that we'll be able to use extrasensory abilities like astral projection, remote viewing, and our third eye. These things used to be thought of as secret or mysterious, but as people become more spiritually aware, they are becoming easier to understand. In a sense, the fourth dimension is a turning point in our evolutionary history. This is the place where we start to go beyond the limits of duality and separation and accept a bigger picture of life. As we make our way through this change, we are on the verge of a deep awakening and are ready to enter the fifth dimension and all of its possibilities. For the most part, this dimension is an important step on the way to the fifth dimension, which is the final goal. It is a place where we start to remember our true potential as multidimensional beings and become aware of how everything is connected. The fifth dimension, which Dolores Cannon sometimes calls the New Earth, is the highest level of human consciousness evolution. In this beautiful state of unity consciousness, the walls that used to separate people in the third dimension fall away, showing how deeply all living things are connected. Understanding that one's own happiness affects everything in the universe is at the heart of the fifth dimension. In the 5D, we go beyond the limits of our egoic minds and enter the endless space of love that doesn't require anything in return. This love goes beyond romantic ideas and includes a deep care for all living things and the planet itself. This kind of love goes beyond judgment, breaks down the illusion of separation, and builds a world where everyone gets along and everything is calm. It's important to know that these dimensions are not separate physical worlds that you can travel to. Instead, they are different states of consciousness that mix and exist together. According to the basic law of existence, the world around us changes when our vibration lines up with these higher dimensions. The things around us change as our frequency rises, meaning that our material reality also changes. As more people become aware of these higher states of consciousness, a change happens on a collective level. We are all going through a huge change right now as we move from the limits of 3D consciousness to the infinite possibilities of 5D consciousness. We are all affected by this change, so it's not just a journey for one person. As people's consciousness continues to rise, we move from the denser energies of the third dimension to the more spiritually aware state of the fourth dimension. This makes way for the fifth dimension, where life is peaceful and enlightened. As we make the change from 3D to 5D consciousness, it's important to remember that this is not just happening to a few people, it's happening to everyone. Our planet is changing into a higher vibrational state, and every person's choices and thoughts play a part in this. By raising our own vibration, we help raise the consciousness of all people, which makes the world a better, more loving place to live. On the other hand, big changes like this don't happen easily and may cause old systems and beliefs to fall apart. This breakdown can show up in many ways, such as economic instability, political unrest, and problems with the environment. Still, it's important to know that taking these systems apart is an important part of the transition process, like tearing down an old building to build something better in its place. Even though these changes may seem scary, it's important to keep things in perspective and remember that they aren't inherently good or bad. Instead, they are necessary for our species to grow and evolve. As we let go of the limits of 3D consciousness and step into the higher vibrational states of 4D and 5D, this is what naturally happens. The fourth dimension is an important part of these changes because it leads to higher consciousness. But it's important to be aware of what could go wrong if you stay in this realm for too long. There is a chance that we could get too involved with spirituality and metaphysical ideas and forget how important it is to stay grounded in the real world. People can feel stuck if they stay in 4D and don't move on to the fifth dimension. We might get used to the new skills and information we have, but real growth and expansion are still ahead. It is natural for our spiritual growth to move from the fourth dimension to the fifth. It's a journey of awakening, finding out more about yourself and realizing who you are. In order to move into the fifth dimension, we have to let go of any attachments, fears, or limiting beliefs that may still be keeping us in the 4D. This change isn't against this dimension. Instead, it's about bringing its knowledge and skills into the higher state of unity consciousness. It's important not to get caught up in the fourth dimension, as it can get in the way of our progress toward mastering higher consciousness. We can learn how to work together with the universe to make things. In this world, we have the ability to think creatively, use our imaginations, and understand karma and time. You can think of the fourth dimension as a cosmic scratch pad, where we can try out our creative skills. Things like the power of thought and imagination are given to us here to help us be creative. A lot of souls stay in the fourth dimension for a long time because the vivid colors, feelings, and experiences there are so interesting. It's easy to get attached to the things that our minds make up, like getting caught up in a great book or movie that takes our attention away from who we really are. But unresolved emotional problems can get worse in these realms, making us feel too much grief, anger, fear, or trauma. It's important to know when we're stuck and to ask our higher self or a divine presence for help to get out of it. This world is not where we belong. We will go to the realm of true creation, which is beyond the fifth dimension, when we listen to the voice of our inner divinity and those who are in tune with it. Our journey takes us through the fourth dimension, but the new earth is where we're really going. You don't have to escape the real world to live in the fifth dimension. Instead, you bring the qualities of higher consciousness into your everyday life. To be in the world but not of it, to spread love and light, and to make the world a better place for everyone. It is important to move past the fourth dimension and into the fifth dimension, because that's where we reclaim our divine nature and become real co-creators with the universe. Even though it's hard and full of distractions, the journey through the fourth dimension prepares us for higher levels of love, spirit, and celestial life. There are levels of happiness, fulfillment, and inner peace that can't be found anywhere else. In the fifth dimension, fear has no power because it comes from a place of unity, consciousness, and unconditional love. We let go of our fears of being alone, being judged, and getting into fights. Instead, we live in trust, knowing that everything that happens to us is for our own growth and evolution. In the fifth dimension, manifestation is quick and easy. When our wants are in line with what is best for everyone, the universe works together to bring them into our lives, and the flow of synchronicity stays with us all the time. Unity consciousness frees up our creative potential. We can use our boundless creativity and innovation to make the world a better place and help make our lives more peaceful. It's important to remember that we are divine, eternal spiritual beings, having a temporary human experience as we go through this journey of change. Along with more than 7 billion other souls, we chose to be here at this time of change to be a part of this big change. Now is not the time to be scared or sad. At this very important time in human history, there is a big change happening in our consciousness. We are moving from the limits of the third dimension to the infinite possibilities of the fifth dimension. It's an awakening and empowering time, and each person has a big impact on the reality we all live in. As we learn more about higher consciousness, it becomes clear that our thoughts, feelings, and actions have a huge impact on the world around us. By learning from spiritual leaders like Dolores, we can see how these changes in dimensions affect many different areas of our lives. Through her deep teachings, we learn how important it is to be able to navigate through the fourth dimension, which is an important part of our evolution that is often overlooked. It's like a bridge between the three other dimensions. It moves us up to higher levels of consciousness. In this place, our experiences are more malleable and flexible, and the idea of time changes. It's a place where we start to remember who we really are as multidimensional beings and use our enhanced intuition and extrasensory abilities. The fourth dimension does, however, bring challenges along with its chances for growth and exploration. Getting caught up in the allure of spiritual experiences can make it easy to lose touch with the real world. It's possible for the ego to sneak into our journey, make us spiritually cocky, and cut us off from other people. Here, we go beyond the limits of the egoic mind and embrace love that doesn't depend on anything. It's a place where fear goes away and manifestation happens naturally in line with what's best for everyone. You don't have to escape the real world to live in the fifth dimension. Instead, you bring the qualities of higher consciousness into your everyday life. As we raise our vibrations and align with the frequencies of love and unity, we help the earth become a better place where everyone gets along and knows more. As a species, we need to stay clear-headed and focused on what makes us happy and complete as we move toward the new earth. Each person's journey of self-discovery is a thread in the tapestry of human evolution that helps others awaken. We co-create a world full of love, compassion, and endless possibilities when we work together. Let us welcome the change with open hearts and unwavering faith in this time of change. As we travel through the levels of consciousness, we become the essence of what God made. We weave an artwork of light and love that shows the way to a new earth where everyone can live in peace and harmony.